Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Outside the Box. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that I'm with my guys from TriStar Strength and Rehab. I got Josh Davis to my top right, and I've got Zach Jackson to the bottom here. It looks like Zach's, he's on the vertical, like a YouTube short type camera lens. Was that on purpose, Zach?
No, it wasn't. I don't know how that happened.
Well, you look great. No matter what, you look great, as do you, Josh. And first of all, real quick, just give me a quick update. How are things going at the practice? Have you guys seen anything that's been super interesting? Because I know that you guys deal with, a lot of patients who are trying to recover from injuries while continuing their strength programs. Anything kind of stand out to you over the last couple of months since we last spoke?
No, I mean to my side, I guess, and then Zach can kind of let them know what you're thinking too. But I've got a couple patients that are we'll kind of classify as the older adult population, and then we've been working on some power training, so like plyometrics, so jumping, kind of fast twitch movements, which basically means we're trying to train those type 2 muscle fibers, and that's going to reduce fall risk and just kind of get them more athletic and moving a little bit better. And that's something I think that is missing in many people's training, including mine. Once you kind of get away from the athletic part of your life, then we stop running, sprinting, jumping, and change of directions. That's something that we try to integrate in our practice and in rehab, and everything is moving all directions as fast as we can, as powerful as we can. I think that carries over quite a bit in daily life. But the guy that I had, we've not done any box jumps at all. We kind of started slowly introducing it. I think he got up to an 18-inch box, and now he's deadlifting like 250-pound kettlebells in a circuit and doing plyometric push-ups as well. So he was pretty stoked about it, and he's in his late 60s. So he's killing it in his low back pain rehab. So
that's unbelievable. I love stuff like that. I, for one, I'm in my – I don't know what you guys would say. I'm going to keep saying I'm in my mid-30s, not my mid to late, because I'm 36, and so I don't think that classifies as late 30s quite yet. But I can already tell that, because when you're playing sports every day, you're used to moving in all different directions. And, now when, I'm not playing sports every day, I can tell that has left me completely. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Zach, anything you've seen in particular in the practice, anything that's kind of stood out to you with your patients?
For me, I've been seeing a lot of shoulder patients, kind of like what Josh said, older adult population, individuals that are getting ready for the holiday season, putting up Christmas trees, decorations, different things. And then they're still doing different activities like pickleball and things of that. They're having shoulder pain, but they're also having, knee injuries, low back pain. And kind of like what Josh said, as we get older, we tend to only move in the sagittal plane, which is just flexion extension, those athletic components of rotation and moving in the frontal plane, which is lateral directions. We just don't do that anymore. And, once you don't train in those areas anymore, then, that's going to increase the risk for injury. The capacity is not there. And the same thing goes over to the shoulder, right? So these people are being more active, reaching overhead, but they don't have the strength, mobility, or the stability. And we know if we don't have all three of those, and eventually that's going to lead to a high risk of injury as well. And then other than that, some people just trying to get ready for the upcoming skiing season. Some people going out west to ski. So making sure that they have the capacity and the strength in their lower body to be able to react appropriately when they're going down the slope. So kind of a mixed bag on my end.
Yeah, that's so fascinating because, as you're talking there, it just, well, as both of you guys were talking, it reminds me of like there's these everyday things that we do that, we really like it gives a renewed sense of purpose to train. You want to be able to, continue going on those ski trips. You want to be able to, put up the Christmas tree, without pain. And I think if we start to think like athletes in that regard, like, and not that we're, playing on Friday nights like I know you guys used to, but like we're going on the family trip and we don't want to get injured, or we've got the grandkids coming over and we want to be able to play. We don't want them to have to just sit on our lap the whole time. And so I love, actually, I'm glad we started off that way. I love hearing these patient stories, things that you guys are seeing and noticing, because I know that brings a lot of value to our listeners here, with some things that they can go ahead and implement at home. And when we before we hit record today, we're recording this in mid-November, and we're getting ready to see family. We're getting ready to travel. A lot of us are. And we started to talk about, man, like it's easy to get away from our routine right now because we're not close to our gym. I'm sure some of your patients will be away from you guys for, a couple weeks at a time, and they might not be used to that. Let's kind of wrap about, different things that people can do on the road when they don't have their normal setup, that not only can keep them strong, keep them from having muscle atrophy, but possibly even getting stronger over the holidays. And Josh, I'll start with you. Let's start with the equipment side. Like, what if I'm wanting to stay in shape, stay strong, but I'm traveling, I'm not going to be around my normal stuff. What are you kind of advising your patients to bring with them that can keep them strong, and kind of in that preventative state with the whole strength and rehab? I love your name.
Yeah, I mean, first thing that comes to my mind, as much as I want to tell people to buy a U-Haul trailer, rent one, and like load around all their bumpers and their, kettlebells and squat racks and everything, obviously that's not going to happen for most, maybe some.
That's how you travel, isn't it?
100%,
I know this guy. He travels with a squat rack. He has
stay ready.
He has probably two 50-pound kettlebells with him at all times.
Yeah. That's it. Seriously, I really do have some weight in the car right now. It's actually a problem. But yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing, talking about working out over the holidays is just staying active. Now, that can mean many things to many different people. And I think the big thing is you need to find something that you enjoy doing, that after your third trip, for Thanksgiving dinner, your stretchy pants are not feeling stretchy anymore, need to get up and move around a little bit. I think, as far as equipment goes, the best thing you can use is your body. I mean, you don't have to have all these things, like kind of what we were joking about earlier. Those are nice to have. And if you have access to those during the holidays, by all means, wear them out. But I think just using your body weight is a pretty big deal for most. And there are some people, or many people, that struggle with just moving their own body, whether that's squatting, or a common one Zach and I get is lunging. Not being able to lunge because due to knee pain, back pain, hip, whatever. So I think starting with these like kind of big rock basics is kind of what Zach and I call them. Is you've got a squat, a hip hinge, which is like bending over at the hips, like a deadlift type movement, overhead press or a bench press type movement or push up, a row, and then a carry. Those are kind of the big core ones. So if you can work, move your body in those positions, then that's huge. And that's something I know it's kind of hard to review over a podcast, but if anybody ever needs help with those movements, Zach and I are obviously here to help and, kind of riff off that if you got any pain or anything that you need to work around.
Yeah, and you in a previous episode we talked a little bit about some of the modifications, if you do have pain. So we'll be sure to link our previous episodes with Zach and Josh in the description below. Zach, what's your thoughts? How are you kind of advising patients to go about the holiday season, staying strong, and maybe even getting a little stronger? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so one of the big things I've been telling my clients, a lot of them freak out about not having access to equipment or having time to work out. First and foremost, I always just tell them, just enjoy your time with your family, enjoy vacation, because I don't want them to feel like it's a job to work out. I want them to look forward to time with their family. And then, based on, when dinner is or having family gatherings, then you can get your workout in. So first and foremost, enjoy your time with your family. I think that's going to put them in a better mindset to get a more quality workout. Secondly, Josh hit the nail on the head. Body weight is huge. You can get some really effective workouts in just with body weight. So whether that's, air squats, reverse lunges, forward lunges, push-ups, different things like that. And you can do progressions and regressions to all of those. So that's great. Another one I love, all my clients I tell them about just resistance bands. So Rogue, Westside Barbell, they make different ones, for beginners, intermediate, and advanced. You can do all kinds of stuff. So whether you have, you catch a warm day, you can utilize those things with a tree. You can wrap them around a pole in the garage to do different variations and get more resistance with your workouts. And then, not everybody's going to have kettlebells or dumbbells, but obviously if you have those, even if they just go up to, 20 or 30 pounds, you can get some really effective workouts there to maintain at least where you're at, maybe get a little bit stronger, but at least maintain to where they're at. And then once they come back to us after the holiday season, we can hit the ground running and we're not having to regress back to where we were maybe a month and a half ago.
I love that. Are you guys big proponents of stretching? Because I've heard I guess recently I've heard some different things about stretching. And, when I think of being either in a hotel room or, in maybe a grandparent's home or a parents-in-law's home, stretching kind of comes to mind, but I've also kind of heard, static stretching, might not be as good for us as we might have thought originally. What's y'all's take on that, out of curiosity? Josh, I'll kind of point that at you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess kind of riffing off what Zach was talking about super quick as far as equipment. If you have grandkids, several sizes difference in grandkids. I mean, you can do drop sets, go with the great grandkid and just dip down. I know I've got a 5-month-old and he's a hoss. So I do squats like Zach was saying with him.
How much, what's your 5-month-old's name?
So Atlas Vance is his name. And
Atlas,
he's sitting at about 21 pounds right now.
Man,
5 months.
21 pounds. That sounds like a perfect, I'm trying to think. I could do a swing squat with that,
Oh, for sure. He loves swinging. I'm just saying. No, but kind of going off to the static stretching thing. Zach and I kind of like using the word mobilize. I think that's a better way of looking at it than just stretching, because I think typically like the old school way of thinking about stretching is there's a muscle that's tight and we want to elongate it for whatever reason. Well, if we think about, first of all, why we're even wanting a longer muscle or stretch something, do we go after the muscle? Do we go after the joint? And that's kind of where we come in. But I think knowing what position you're deficient in, and there's several tests that you can kind of do on your own, and maybe that's something we can do down the road as far as general screenings go, for the ankle, for the knee, for the hip, for the shoulder. If you can find where those deficits are and target them specifically, then everything, aim small, miss small. You're trying to go exactly for where you're limited and you're not wasting time. Because like Zach said, holidays time is of the essence, literally, so you don't want to spend, 20 minutes just aimlessly moving or flopping around on the floor like I look like I'm doing. We want to know exactly what we're doing and why we're doing it. And, something we always kind of look at is targeting the hips, low back, thoracic spine, kind of getting some rotation, like Zach said earlier, moving in multiple different planes and motions. I think movement is and mobilizing is kind of the big thing. And if you want to stay in that position for a little bit and focus on your breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, 3 to 4 seconds in and out, in through your nose, out through your mouth, then that kind of lets your nervous system just chill out, especially if you're traveling long distances and you're sitting in a car for long periods of time. Getting out of that, knees bent, hips bent position is going to be huge for you.
Yeah, I think I love that. And think more about, instead of thinking about it as stretching, think about it as, mobility, continuously moving.
Movement, correct.
Yep. I love that. And I just got to throw this out there to you, Josh. Does that not kind of remind you of an Abercrombie model in the bottom here? I don't know if you guys can can see him.
I think he's Hollister. I can smell it through my computer.
Is it
Like I'm
Hollister?
walking in the mall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, man. I don't know. The lights are going to get darker here shortly. Some techno in the background. I don't know. It's going to be wild.
Zach, are you on the podcast on behalf of Hollister?
Maybe 15 years ago. Yeah. I tend to go more with Abercrombie and Fitch, Fierce. So
the sponsorship plug is going to be at the end, right?
Yeah.
I'll tag.
I love that, man.
Black Friday deals.
I'm telling you, you look great. I think Josh and I are just a bit jealous, and that's coming
Super
out
jealous.
in humor. That's how we deal with it.
Besides crying.
Yes. Okay, so we've talked about at home workouts that some people are doing or can do as we head into the holidays. What's your thoughts on, should people aim to get out and walk? I think walking with family members is another thing. Kind of back to Zach's point with enjoying family. That's one thing that you can do post Thanksgiving dinner, post Christmas Eve dinner, whatever. Go out for a walk with the family. Are you guys encouraging people to do things of that nature as well, in terms of just getting mobile, getting out?
Yeah, for sure. I actually encourage quite a few of my clients after workouts. I'll prescribe different cool down exercises for them to do. But one of the big things is just go for a mile or 2 mile walk. You can add in some various inclines and declines, and that's going to work on your cardio capacity. Might feel a little bit rough after a big dinner like Thanksgiving or something, but it's great. It's something that is effective that I think gets overlooked at. Simple it is, but yeah, just getting out and moving, that's the best thing you can do, because kind of like Josh is going back to, people are going to be traveling, they're going to be in these positions in cars or sitting down at the dinner table with family, so just getting up and moving in any capacity is fantastic in my mind.
I love that. Josh, you got anything to add around like adding some sort of cardio? Are you on the running train, or are you more of like, let's stick to walking,
Dude, if I'm running, something's after me, and everybody else should too. That's for Zach's realm right there. I've started running recently, and I realized we were talking about earlier how out of shape I am. So yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Have you, and this is totally off topic, I apologize to our listeners, but have you guys seen the meme where people are running around a corner, and it's the reaction of the people watching, and people are running, and then they're showing these people coming by, and it's like a fake dinosaur coming around the corner?
Yes.
I think it's hysterical. That's exactly guys, if you see Josh out running, go the opposite way, or go with him, join him.
Well, and chances are I'll be the bait later on, because I'm gonna run out of gas real quick, and you just keep on humming by, and whatever's chasing us is gonna get me. But yeah, I mean, I don't even know what the question was. What was it?
We're talking a little bit about cardio, and apparently you're not much of a runner.
No. So yeah, as far as cardio goes, I mean, I agree with Zach. I think walking is kind of the low hanging fruit there. And you can even utilize tempos. So, pull out your Apple Watch and, set a timer, do like 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. And what I mean by that is kind of just a brisk walk for 30 seconds and then cool down for 30 seconds. Or you can play with those numbers. You can do 15 seconds quick, 45 seconds rest, especially if you've ate like quite a few, was it tryptophan that's in turkey that you're going to end up taking a nap pretty soon? So that and I don't know. So just pulling out of the old education bucket right there. What do you think about that one?
Write that one down, guys.
Exactly, tryptophan. It's probably wrong.
That's a trivia for Thanksgiving dinner. If you guys want to, bring some humor into the dinner conversation.
And if they can't use it in a sentence, they have to do 30 squats.
That's right.
So there's your cardio right there. But yeah, I mean, as far as cardio goes, as much as I hate running, I try to find ways of, getting my heart rate up. So those 5 big motions we were talking about earlier, you can use them in a circuit. And what I mean by that is one after the other. So if you take maybe 15, 20 seconds rest in between, and don't, on these, don't go to failure. I mean, there's no point, in kind of pushing it that far, but kind of get to where, if we always use the RPE scale, rate of perceived exertion, and it's a kind of 0 to 10, 10 being like me running from a inflatable dinosaur, versus 0, it's not hard at all. If you can get around like a 6 or 7, then we're cooking. And with that, move on to the next exercise, do 3 or 4 rounds. Cause these workouts, especially if you spend time with family, you should be looking for like 20 to 30 minutes most. I mean, get in, get out. And that's kind of what we're talking about, the stretching. Be as efficient as possible, because your time in the holidays, that's the most important thing.
Are you guys advocates of the Tabata?
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Any particular exercises that you like for that for your patients? Like if you're putting somebody through a Tabata workout, is there specific movements you like? The reason I say that, I've been a little bit on a kick of doing, if I don't have a lot of time, just knocking out a 4-minute mountain climber Tabata or something like that keeps me in a plank. Actually really works my hip flexors, which I'm not used to.
Right.
What sort of Tabata workouts are you putting people through?
You can go first, Zach? You want me to?
Yeah, you can go on that one.
One that I typically go to if I have an assault bike. So this is kind of one of those things. If I've got my trailer with me, then I'm doing something like that. But if I'm out in the wild doing something with no equipment, squats are always the super easy one. If squats are too easy, do jump squats. So actually leave the ground. Same thing with push-ups. Push-ups too easy, then kind of get the hands up off the ground, and you can always elevate the surface to make it a little bit easier to do those plyometric push-ups. But throw in some crunches, especially, like I said, you got stretchy pants on, you're gonna have to work on those abs some point. So kind of move the food around a little bit. But those are kind of the big 3 ones that I can think of, or like a kettlebell swing. If you
So would you do 4 minutes straight of a jump squat? 4 minutes straight, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off?
I would try. I mean, that's something like typically I do around 8-minute Tabatas, and I'm absolutely worked. Like I get to that, whatever round it is, and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. But those are the best workouts.
Of the same exercise?
Yeah, typically, or you can even alternate if you wanted to. That kind of gives a little bit of movement variability. So if you're going to do like a push and a pull, so you did a squat and a push up, that'd be a pretty good pairing there, because you're getting upper body and lower body, a little bit of core in between. So I would say alternate. If you did like a 10-second Tabata, so do 10 seconds of squats, 20-second rest, then go into the push-ups next, and just kind of flip flop for however many rounds you can get it. And you can even do it like that. You can make it like a gamify it. Get the whole family around. Get grandma out there doing jump squats and push-ups, and see if you can beat her in front of all family and friends.
I love that. In my head, I'm picturing, the like Charles Barkley playing with a bunch of kids in like basketball and like totally blocking them,
dunking on them. Exactly.
Zach, what sort of do you like Tabatas yourself?
I think Josh loves them a lot more than I do. But I like them too. Josh hit the nail on the head. Some different squat variations. Lunging is a big one I like to do with it. Some overhead carry. And the assault bike, that's killer. So, you go hard on that for about 20 or 30 seconds over a 4-minute, 5-minute span, you're going to be worked. So yeah, I like them a lot.
The assault bike is, I get butterflies in my stomach if you just mention it, let alone.
I get queasy.
Oh man, like I literally, you can black out on one of those things, man. Those things are so.
And you'll keep going is what's bad. It's like a freaking puppet.
Before we wrap up here, guys, tell me a little bit about TriStar Strength and Rehab. What's going on? I know you guys went through a move, I believe within the last month or two. Kind of give us an update. I know people are wanting to know where you guys are at. So Josh, tell us where TriStar is now, and maybe how they can get a hold of you guys.
Yeah, so we actually are up in Boones Creek at TrueFit. And Zach, what exit is that? I don't even remember. It's right off 26.
Yeah, it's the Boones Creek. Exit 17.
Yeah. 17, yeah. So we have a little room in there, and we actually have a squat rack inside of our office because we want to be different than most PTs, and that was a statement that we made. So, but yeah, I mean, we are open for business as far as that goes. We're still kind of getting some stuff moved in, but we're definitely looking for looking for some people that we can help. And if anybody's got any aches, pains, anything like that, or kind of what you're talking about today, just need some guidance with some exercise principles. That's definitely something that we can help with. So yeah.
Zach, anything to add to that before we sign off?
We just wrapped up a big deadlift event, around Halloween, and that far exceeded, definitely my expectations. I'm sure Josh's as well. We had any 30 to 40 people there, and
That's
several
insane.
Several people were competing, and I was shocked at that amount. It looked like a ride at Dollywood, just waiting.
Yeah, like over 500 pounds.
Yeah,
roughly.
Great.
And it was Zach that was lifting it.
It was a great event. Had some good people there. Had a good time, and fun to get people to be that passionate and that excited about staying healthy, moving heavy weight, and down the road, it's just going to pay off for their longevity and their lifestyle. So great time. Like Josh said, we're in Boones Creek now, excited about the move, and we're just ready to help people in any way we can.
I love it. And I challenge anybody to be as passionate about the deadlift as Josh is, because I know he lives and breathes deadlifting. As you've heard on previous episodes, he loves the deadlift. So I think y'all's mission is to get people as passionate about deadlifting as you guys are. I'm on my way, man. I'm loving some deadlifts. Especially after seeing that video with Dr. Rogers. It's like, if he can do it, I can do it, and that's just how I roll. But guys, I'm so proud of y'all. I'm so happy for the move. I can't wait to see it in person and check you guys out. I know this is virtual right now. But I just really appreciate y'all hanging out with me on the podcast. And before I sign off, can I just make sure I can get you guys back on the show?
For sure. Thanks for having us.
All right, guys, it is TriStar Strength and Rehab. This is Zach Jackson and Josh Davis. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. As always, we will see you guys next time. Thanks, guys.
Don't go away.